Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel, here for the review of our 2-1 victory against BAYER Leverkusen in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Sorry that I didn't upload it yesterday, better late than never. I was away actually watching the match on a big screen, thanks to Bleacher Report, who put up a little watch party, for BAYER Leverkusen fans, and there was for Inter fans, including myself and a couple of other guys from Inter Twitter. It was good. But I didn't get time to get the reaction because I had to drive back from there. It was about an hour drive, but doing it from my office today, from my work office, so hopefully it doesn't look too bad in the background. Just ignore it. First of all, I have to say, there was a few neutrals there watching the match as well at the event, and they were all impressed with how Inter played. So first of all, I must say, great performance by Inter, gritty performance, maybe not the most clinical. There was a few chances that we should have put away. In the first half we should have been, probably scoring 3 or 4 goals. But, in the end, it got the result. My man of the match, it has to be Nicolo Barella, Barellino, whatever you want to call him. The guy is just an absolute motor. This guy never stops running. Some people have compared him to N'Golo Kante. And you can see why. This guy just, has those jokes they used to say about Kante, most of the world is covered by water and the rest is covered by Kante. In the case is here for Barella, this guy, covers the pitch like no other player on this team. Winning balls, spraying balls, scoring. What a goal that was outside of his boot. Trivela, Quaresma would be proud of him on the rebound. Great performance overall. Sometimes I criticize him for not being as decisive in the final third, but today he definitely was. He could have had another goal actually when Lautaro set him up, and he hit it straight. He had the whole goal open, but it doesn't matter. But very proud of his performance today. He fought hard. Gagliardini next to him did not help. Gagliardini was the worst player on that pitch. Really stank up the pitch, and even Conte was shouting at him, Gaglia, where the fuck are you going? At one point, that was a whole mood. And he was rightly substituted for Eriksen, and Eriksen made a great impact on the match once again, like he did in the previous Europa League match against Getafe. He didn't get a goal or an assist, but at least he made a big impact on the game. One of his through balls to Sanchez was amazing. Second close for the man of the match for me was Lukaku. Another massive performance. This guy, the way he's starting to use his body now, this is what we wanted from him. We see how big he is and how powerful he is, and sometimes it just feels like he doesn't use that to the maximum potential. But now this towards this end of the season, it's almost like he's learned how to use his body properly. The defenders can't move him out of the way. Tapsoba and Tar, those are 2 very strong defenders, but they really struggle to handle Lukaku. For the goal, he somehow managed to sneak his foot in to get that shot in. It was trickled in, but they all count. He probably should have had more goals as just as Barella on the counter, and that one goal that he actually scored and it was disallowed. It shouldn't have been. He just muscled Tapsoba out of the way on the counter, complete overpowered. The referee blew the whistle too early, which means that VAR couldn't review it. So that was a shame. But beating the record for Alan Shearer, 9 Europa League games in a row that he scored now. Amazing. Hats off to him. 31 goals in the season. Just an impressive season that is exceeded my expectations, I must admit. I was expecting around 25 goals in total for his season, but he's gone way above that, and I'm expecting more. Next to him, Lautaro. I felt like it was quite an underrated performance. I saw the reactions on Twitter, which is I guess the good thing I get to have a little bit of a clearer mind the day after, rewatch a few of the things, and straight after the match I wasn't so impressed with Lautaro, but actually rewatching the match today and seeing a few things, he was really good. He was involved in both goals quite heavily actually. In the first goal, his movement, his touch, and then afterwards he gave that back heel to Ashley Young, who set up the goal, or he set up Lukaku, who then rebounded the shot, and then Barella came in. And even on the second goal, he kept Tar busy, with his back to Tar, to the goal. He moved out wide, which opened up the space for Young to pass for Lukaku to score the goal. Both goals were quite similar in the way they were built up, and Ashley Young was so important for that. Another great performance. He was probably up there in the podium in performances for me. It was either him or Bastoni. Bastoni, another great performance, this time more defensively rather than on the ball. Usually he's the one that stands out with the ball at his feet, but today yesterday he was really impressive, defending, getting ahead of his markers, you know, making sure that Havertz didn't cause too much trouble. You know, got unlucky with that rebound on the goal because Havertz got a bit lucky. I think he nutmegged him and got a bit of a lucky rebound, but you know, not really his fault. De Vrij once again, you know, this guy is just a pillar at the back, kept Kevin Volland quiet. You know, not very impressive performance by Volland. Havertz was a bit more impressive. You could see why, you know, he's touted as a generational talent. The boy can do everything. I don't know if he's worth 80 million, whatever Chelsea are going to be paying for him, but very impressive nonetheless. Diaby, as we previewed in the match preview, you know, he was a pain first on the left hand side and then he moved out on the right hand side, but I think we managed him quite well in general. Godin, hats off to him. You know, there was a moment where he was 1v1 against Diaby and he didn't let him go past, you know, both times. You know, got slide tackled him, stopped the crosses. You know, big shout out to Diego Godin. A lot of people were doubting him this season. You know, if someone he does look uncomfortable in that position. He still looks uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean that his performances have been awful. You know, I struggle to see or recall awful performances from Godin, especially the way that people have been talking about him. You know, I think he's received too much criticism, and today after the match, you know, he was saying, you know, it's taken him a little bit of time to get used to Conte's tactics. And as I've been saying the whole season, these right centre back and left centre back position is a completely different position for normal centre backs, because you're covering so much space. And Godin said the exact same thing. You cover a lot more space than he's used to. Like, you're almost like a right back and a left back at times, and you're almost like a centre mid at times. So much ball that you have to play, so much space you have to cover, and we play so high, you know, it leaves them exposed at times, and it's very difficult. But he's starting to get adapted, and I'm happy to see him play well. Ambrosio, right wing back, as you know, as you guys know, I always say I'm not really a big fan of him in that position, but he always ends up giving his contribution more defensively today. But he did almost win that penalty. Brozovic once again, you know, he's really not hitting those heights that, you know, we know him for from previous seasons. He did his job, but I expect better from Brozovic, but I feel like he really is coming to an end of a cycle in this Inter team under Conte. I feel like he might be the one that we let go in the summer, because I feel like his performances are really not being up to par. Sanchez, my God, what a mentality this guy, what a player. Comes on, chases every little shadow, gets injured whilst chasing and pressing, does his hamstring in, but because Conte's used all his substitution windows, which means we can't bring on anyone else, he stays on the pitch like a true soldier. Hats off to him, man. Like, he played on, like, it was basically we were playing with 10 men, but, you know, Sanchez gave it his all. You know, he could have just come off the pitch, but he gave it his all, and, you know, just deserves credit for that, because, you know, he's probably made his injury even worse. So hopefully he's not too bad, but I don't really see him playing in the next match, even though we have a week to recover now, which is good. Disappointed to see that, as we only have Esposito there for cover. A big gap in that squad, but, you know, hopefully he's not too bad. Hopefully we get to see Sensi in the next match. It should be between Shakhtar Donetsk and Basel. Who do I prefer between the two? I'd rather face FC Basel, to be honest. You know, the Swiss team, they finished I think 3rd or 4th in the Swiss league. They've been in good form in the Europa League, but in general, you know, they're not that good of a team. So, and the Shakhtar can always be tricky with their Brazilian, you know, the Brazil of the East, as they call them, with their Brazilian attackers. So I'd rather face Basel, to be honest, but, you know, not too much difference there. As again, you know, we'll be favourites in that match, whoever it is, and, you know, we're favourites to go into the final. Against Man United it should be, but you never know with Sevilla, as I said. But yeah, those were my thoughts on the match. I'm looking forward to, you know, getting to the semi-final and hopefully getting to a final. You know, great result, great boost for the team, great confidence, great football. And yeah, let me know in the comments below, who was your man of the match? Do you agree with me with Barella, or do you think it was Lukaku or Bastoni or Ashley Young or someone else? And yeah, let me know in the comments below your thoughts. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm almost on 500 subs, so make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.